going to get myself in trouble, but just my
Yeah,
view
get in
on
trouble,
how.
dude. That's the whole point, man.
Let's get Fritz in trouble.
No, it's
My
not. How are you gonna get in trouble? Like, who's gonna admonish you, right? Like,
you can. So as soon as I have a little say here, go. Feel free to admonish me now.
I don't want to admonish you. I want to understand what you're saying.
Oh, so okay, my uninformed outsider's view on, say, UK culture. You know, you have a king and a queen and the royalty and that feeling of respect and, you know, get along. It's a little more deferring to authority. Authority historically, we are good people. Our king is they're good people, and so there's more deference to fiat, I might say, by decree. There's just sort of this inherent respect, and that we're fine. Stiff upper lip, keep your chin up, and Britain shall survive. And then also as good people as we are, they open their doors to people who want to come to a proud country, and they welcome people in. And America will do that too. And then you get so many of a specific culture coming in with a very strong culture, rules of their own, integration. I mean, I think kids naturally want to integrate in the culture they're in, but some cultures, I think, do that less quickly. And naturally, you know, like in America, immigration occurs in America, and you get whole areas of town that are, say, Italian, Irish, Chinese, whatever. That's natural. Now, when that happens, so let's just say that happens in London, and you have areas of town where more and more people come, and you have a whole neighborhood that starts to, you know, have its own leaders, vote in their own people, enforce their own rules about it or different approach to it, and the judgmental view on, say, Islam is the idea of a caliphate or the Islam state. I think there are countries in Europe that feel that concern. So is that how big of a risk is that? Is it like, well, yeah, they only have 10%, but it's a unified 10% that is growing, creeping, at this point cannot be stopped. You're cooked. Is that accurate?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the one that said it.
I don't know.
I'm curious what you're saying. Like, you said, I want to be open-minded to, you know, culture and multiculturalism and all that kind of stuff. I was just curious what that meant, because it was sort of like, it sort of perked up my ears. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let's unpack that. But I mean, I guess, I don't know. Like, it all sort of depends on your view of things, I suppose. But if you're, you know, when the bigger problem with all this is, like, it's super easy to drift down into like racist tropes or religious tropes or all kinds of shit. The core thing is, like, you want to preserve your quote unquote culture, just get rid of the fucking handouts, you know. And then, like, all your waves of migrants and your waves of this and your waves of that just kind of evaporate, because the people that want to come to your country and be part of the country because they like your country are going to come there because they're seeking some sort of opportunity to build within your country. If you just have like this unlimited purse of like free shit, people just show up for the free shit, dude. So like it kind of, you know, it, like, people are saying, oh, we're being invaded, we're being this, we're being that. And it's like, no, you're just like you're giving shit away. So like, right, what do you expect? You know, like, if I just said, hey, free microseeds for everybody, I'm going to get inundated with people. People don't know what a microseed is or care. They're just going to want free shit. They're just going to take stuff from you, you know? So I don't know, man. But in terms of like being open to culture or whatever, it's like, there are, you know, it depends on how you look at things. Like, if you have a culture of cannibals, you want to go, let's be open to cultural influence. Like, if people eat other people, that's probably not healthy, right? So let's not encourage culturalism, you know, just for the sake of it. But I don't know, man. Like, England has been standing proud for over 1,000 years, you know. So the idea that a bunch of like unwashed migrants from wherever the fuck or can come in and, you know, illegally occupy your country, then, you know, there's a simple fix for it. Just throw them the fuck out. Like, it's not hard to figure out. But
right.
but then like you have to overcome like all the nonsense in order to do it. You want to just really fix the problem overnight, just get rid of all your fucking handouts, including native people handouts. And then a lot of these problems fix themselves, but that's politically unpalatable. So people just like allow themselves to be wrangled and roped into like these political discussions, but they don't really want a solution. So they just like being upset and pissed off, best I can tell.
Yeah. And, younger folks, they, they might lead with their heart or their ideas for a fantasy world without knowing how, running things, a business or a country might really work, how economy works, that money just comes from wherever. And so it's easy and natural for, like, I can see it in youth wanting to be open and accepting and tolerant and just allow for it all, and it'll work itself out. And so, like, at my heart, like, I get it. That's not to say that, like, I imagine, like, so when I look at Portland, keep Portland weird, keep Albuquerque quirky. Those ideas of like, hey, we're tolerant, we're cool, people can do their thing. If that works for them, we're not going to judge people for lifestyles or whatever. But if they're, stealing from stores, are we still prosecuting the law? If it's costing a bunch of money to maintain in a welfare state and we can't afford it, do we keep paying for that? I think that's where some people are like, somewhere in this fantastical world, there's just money out there that if there's, if there's someone in need, there's just money for that. When the economy is unsustainable, it's hard to let go of because it just feels mean. And so socialism can work those cracks. And I feel like socialism can work because it makes people feel good about what we're trying to do, even if it just doesn't function economically.
Well, neither does capitalism, though. So, I mean, it's all bullshit. If it's fucking turtles all the way down, right? Like you can go, oh well, communism does this, and it's some utopian thing, and they go, yeah, but that's kind of a bullshit narrative, right? And socialism, preys on the this and that, but it's kind of a bullshit narrative and it's not sustainable. And you go, well, capitalism is the thing that works. And you go, well, no, it's not. It's the same bullshit narrative. It's just a more productive narrative, But at the end of the day, it eats itself. It has to, because the point of the whole thing is for people to take stuff, like people in power to take things, whether it's communism, socialism, capitalism, fucking a religious caliphate, or, the Church of England or the Catholic Church. It doesn't matter who's trying to take. They're all trying to take. They're all trying to control. So the ultimate end game of that is someone else comes in and tries to take control over the thing these people are controlling, right? And that's the endless game of competitive resource capture. But some idea that like this works and that doesn't, and this and that, I go, on what time horizon, right? Because for the last 50 years, capitalism, quote unquote, and that's a great big fat quote unquote, people say, oh yeah, well, capitalism works and does this and did that. And I go, well, kind of, but in this very limited rule set that they've kind of imposed on the world about like how trade happens and things like that. But it's collapsing right before our eyes. And when it comes to like people going, oh, there's just an unlimited pile of money, it's like, can you blame them? Like you go, hey, are we prosecuting the law? Like someone went and shoplifted from a store. Are we enforcing the law? And I go, well, I don't know. In 2008, the bankers shoplifted from the entire globe to the tune of $2 trillion. Did we prosecute the law? And you go, well, then what are we talking about, right? Like we go, well, I don't like that petty crime is not being punished. Okay, well, right now we've punished all kinds of things. Like our prisons were overflowing for years and years and years because we're prosecuting people for made up drug offenses and throwing the book at them and calling them, like worse than terrorists because they were, selling pot to people in high school. But yet, they keep bailing out bankers. They keep bailing out industry. They keep bailing out. Like there's unlimited pots of money for people in control. But as soon as like, someone suggests, hey, there should be an unlimited pot of money for people that aren't in control, then all of a sudden it's a problem in the capitalist circles.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, what's Johnny say here? The left tries to guilt us into accepting all types of bad influences. If you've come here to assimilate and build, cool, but if you come to change us through coercion, fuck off. Yeah, fair enough. I would say they would not try and change anything if you weren't giving them a handout. Not you personally, obviously, Johnny, but like us in general. Like if you didn't get free healthcare, if you didn't sneak across the border and get, make a baby and then get citizenship, and if you didn't sneak across the border and get, free healthcare, free housing, free this, free that, like they do all throughout Europe, you get all kinds of neat perks just by showing up and sticking around for long enough. So you take that away, and then there's no, like who's going to come? You go, hey, it's a real pain in the ass to be here, and I don't speak the language. I'd rather have a pain in the ass where I came from, or at least I know everybody and I speak the language. And my very telling viewpoint on this is born a lot from what happened after the Berlin Wall fell. Like all the East Germans flooded into West Germany, and they went, wow, look at all the neat stuff. And then they said, oh, but where are the jobs for us? And they go, we don't want to hire you. Like they didn't have a very easy time of it. And so very shortly after, most of them just went back to East Germany, right? Because at least it's familiar. It's their neighborhood, So if you got all these migrants flooding across for work and whatnot, I go, well, fine. But, to say those people don't get exploited, I go, it would be short-sighted, Yeah. But people don't care. They don't give a shit as long as they get cheap vegetables. Like this whole thing with like illegal truck drivers, right? Like people go, yeah, this is so terrible. Look, this lady got squished between two trucks because some fucking migrant wearing flip-flops was driving his fucking tractor trailer on 2 hours of sleep and wasn't paying attention and driving like a lunatic. And then, he pancakes somebody. Everyone goes, oh, these illegal drivers. And I go, well, yeah, but, you want to pay American drivers to do American work, with American regulations and follow all the rules. Your prices go up by 30%. That cheap foreign drivers, those cheap foreign labor, and the CEO doesn't care. He goes, well, whatever. I can save a lot of money this year by just hiring a bunch of fucking migrants with fake fucking CDLs that they got from, some ding dong truck driving school in Mexico or something like that.
Yeah. California. Yeah.
California, Oregon, sheriff out there used to talk about it all the time, all these fucking foreign drivers out there. So they're an absolute menace, but, people will bitch about it until they have to pay for it, right? So it's just like, it's all fantasy thinking, right? Whether it's the people in the country going, hey, well, you got to do this and this and this. I go, well, you got to pay for that, right? And they go, well, I don't want to pay for it. I want to have all the perks of all the shit that I've gotten used to without having to actually pay me the cost of that stuff. So these things are power grabs across the board. They're always power grabs. If you got a wave of illegal migrants coming in, it's because someone's trying to grab power. If you got a wave of people getting thrown back out of the country, it's because someone's trying to grab power, retain power, but the idea that it's here to help the farm animals is, I think, narrow-minded.
Yeah, it does boil down to the resource capture game. And even like locally recently, over the past, years, but particularly this past summer, there was just a slew of these guys from California or wherever, but recent immigrants had their CDL and are driving up the highway that goes up through Oregon and caught locally in a tiny little rural county, wrecking and making messes or hurting people. And there were a bunch of them. And not just in our little county, but others and around the state. But it was like winnowing in on a truck driving school or a few of these that were just kind of like, you got money and can you drive around these cones? Okay, here's your CDL. Yeah. And we'll sign off on all these hours and training, and there off you go with your semi rig and how many hours of actual driving and what training. And then
go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. And then there's problems on the road, and it's sort of like a natural outcome of companies who don't care who they're hiring and they've got insurance. Stuff would happen. The driver has no money. The company's got insurance. I was talking to the DA about like looking at the restitution involved, and it's like, no one's going to pay that. Is the victim going to get that? And it always boils down to like, well, insurance somewhere. And then it's that the economics of it is, do the economics add up to allow companies to keep practicing that way, and insurance companies that will cover them in that way. And then if the victim or the outcome is paid out one way or another, it could continue. So
Well,
anyway.
even beyond the domestic CDLs where they actually went to a school and like theoretically at least had a pamphlet put in front of them about what they're supposed to be doing. A lot of these CDLs are just straight up foreign drivers. Like they show up with a Mexican CDL and then they get a waiver to drive. And so there's this treatment of like, hey, you get to drive here. You don't even have to go to a U.S. school. You don't even have to have a U.S. license. We'll just give you this reciprocity to drive here. And then that guy, gets hired on to drive at a tenth of the cost of what a U.S. truck driver would drive. And, he's not obviously going to join the Teamsters or anything like that. So, they save a truck ton of money on this stuff. But that all traces back to the fiat requirements of things. Like, someone posted a chart that said, hey, over the last X number of years, Bitcoin's gone up like 50,000%, NVIDIA's gone up 36,000%, Tesla's gone up 3,000%. The money supply has gone up 36%. You go, okay, well, let's ignore the fucking noise of 50,000 and 30,000% and whatever, and let's focus on the 36% increase in the money supply. And you go, well, how does a company stay in business if they have to improve by 36% over whatever time frame that was? You go, you can't. It's impossible. Like you can't continually get 36% stronger year over year over year. Like you're going to run into a functional barrier. Like doesn't matter how many weights you lift, doesn't matter how much testosterone you take. Like there's going to be some limit where you just go, we can't get any bigger than this. I can't get any stronger than this. And a company can't just continually make more and more profit every year because that's not possible. It's impossible to do that. So they have to resort to shenanigans to make that work. And it's either you reduce quality, you reduce service, or you reduce labor costs. Like that's all you can do. And so if you squeezed your trucking business all the way down to it's like you delay maintenance by 6 months instead of a 6-month maintenance cycle, you do a 1-year maintenance cycle. If you do, all of this kind of stuff, you continually have to degrade the quality of your business. But you'll get to a point where you go, the only thing left we can do is cut down on the amount we spend on labor. And right now, an American truck driver won't drive for what will keep us in business. So, hey, but there's, like Johnny said, here's 8 different countries that'll come in and drive for us and gladly take that rate. I mean, they might squish a few people, but hey, like you said, Fritz, we got insurance, so who cares? Fuck them, Like, so what? We smash some family on the freeway, like, as long as most of our goods get there, like it's breakage for them, and
Right.
And yeah, I mean, but that's always been the way. Like you can go back to the Ford thing and the Pintos exploding, and they just went, well, chances are good only X number of people are going to explode and die in a Pinto, and that's going to be less than it would cost to recall the Pinto. So let's just go with explode and die, right?
Yeah, it's like the point at which they would issue a recall is when the cost of a recall is less than the potential liabilities from lawsuits. It's not like, oh, we found this thing, let's go fix it. It's
right.
like, what does this all cost? Is it worth a recall?
Right.
Whether it blows up or just would be cosmetic.
Correct. But that's what I've been kind of getting at, all along, and especially with the stuff I talk about in my book. Like, you're a farm animal, dude. Like, you're a farm animal. I'm a farm animal. They don't give a shit. The people that are trying to capture resources don't care about you, your rights, your dignity, your, anything. They just don't give a shit about you.
Thank you for watching this video. This is just a short clip from our full episode. So if you'd like to enjoy more entertaining wisdom found in our podcasts in their full context, just click a link in the corner. We are always sharing our big ideas on Bitcoin Liberty Live.